Thank you for joining me for some lovely yoga tonight on this Monday night. I thought we would work a little bit into cat, a little inspiration here, and cow shape in our spine. So everything that we're doing, we are going to be folding a little forward and then bending a little backward in our spine shape. Today we'll do kind of the most traditional cat-cow. We'll do some sitting down cat-cows. We'll do some cat-cows in our vinyasas, and hopefully at the end of this class, your spine just feels really supple and worked out as if you yourself were one of these beautiful flexible cats right here. When you are ready, we're going to start sitting facing the short edge of your mat cross-legged. And as you sit cross-legged facing the short edge of your mat, you just want to place your right foot in front of your left foot in your cross, because we're going to do this on each side. If you simply cannot sit cross-legged, you can always sit with your knees tented, and then you'll just do this symmetrically on each side. But as you come to sitting here to start our cow and cat shape, find your sits bones equally grounded. If you need a prop, you'll just want to have something that's easy to remove, because we're going to rock a little bit forward and back in this position. Right foot again is crossed in the front. Start by just relaxing your shoulders here. Settling into your breath. Ready. On an inhale, you're going to draw the center of your chest forward, take your shoulders a little bit back, a little bit of a cow shape in your spine. And then as you exhale, shrug your shoulders forward, pull your belly button back, press your tailbone towards the floor. Cat. Inhale. Cow. And exhale. Cat. A couple more like this. You can get your whole torso in on this action. You can be rocking a little bit on your sitting bones if you want. Just start to feel what that feels like in your spine. If it feels good, you can add on a little bit, reaching forward as you inhale, and then gathering the hands into fists, pulling them back and in as you exhale. And this is just an opportunity to notice, how does your spine feel today? Does this feel full of ease, or are there kind of crinkly, cronkly spots from whatever you've been doing the last 48 hours? Inhale is going to stay the same here. Reach forward. As you exhale, lean back. You're going to rock your weight onto your sits bones. I like to hold my fist here for strength. Start to lift your knees up. See if maybe you can lift your feet up. You can always balance your feet on the floor. Lift the center of your chest as you inhale, and maybe you can pulse. 1. Dipping the toes. 2. Leaning a little back. 3. And 2 more. 4. And 5. Go ahead and catch behind your thighs, uncross your feet, and slowly roll yourself all the way to the floor, bringing your knees in towards your chest. And here you could rock a little bit side to side, just massage your spine and see how that feels today. And then catching again behind the thighs. If you let go, you're going to kick your feet away from you and see if you can rock yourself back up to seated. See if you can use your abdominal strength rather than just momentum. So it's not a super fast movement. You can have your feet in the floor or your feet in the sky here. And then see if you can roll back down. Articulate your spine. Tailbone down, low back down, shoulders down, head down, knees draw into the chest. Kick the feet away. See if you can slowly roll up. We're just going to do that one more time, if you can. Knees draw into the chest. And then you're going to bring yourself up to seated, and this time as you come up to seated, you're going to cross your left foot in front of your right foot, or stack the feet on the floor if this sitting cross-legged part doesn't work for you. Take a moment, get situated, and then inhale, draw the center of your chest forward for your cow pose. Exhale, draw yourself back into your cat. And just notice if it feels any different in your hips now that you have a different foot crossed in front. maybe your spine just starts to feel a little more open here. Maybe you like to add some arms. And again, you can be rocking a little bit on your sits bones, giving them a massage. Last one like this. Inhale stays the same. As you exhale, you're going to float those knees up. Float the feet. Keep the ankles crossed for this. I find it makes it a little easier. This is your inhale. As you exhale, lean a little back pulse. And up. 2. You always hold behind your eyes. 3. Maybe you've got 2 more. 4. And 5. Now roll all the way down, crossing your feet. Gather your knees in towards your chest. And this time, go ahead and take your knees over to the right. Create a little twist for your spine. Feel free to adjust in any way. If you want to straighten your legs or have one knee more bent than the other, do not hesitate to do so. This just wants to feel nice in your core. Maybe even look a little over to your left. And now come back to center. And exhale, take the knees over to the other side. It's just a few breaths here. Just releasing that little bit of abdominal work we've been warming up with. Creating some heat and some integrity in the muscles that help us move our spine around. It's my favorite ways to warm up, because after I do that little bit of abdominal work, I just feel so alive, so ready to move around. Come back to the center line. Just one kick of your feet away, you're going to rock yourself up to seated. Maybe you can float your feet. Maybe your feet have to go to the floor for balance. If you're floating your feet, flex, lift the center of your chest. If you feel quite frisky, you could extend your arms here and hold for a deep breath. You can also support your hands at any time, or support yourself with your hands. And then go ahead and rock forward. You can cross your feet, and maybe you can come all the way in one movement down to your table pose. Maybe it takes several more movements. See how it goes. Set yourself up, hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Inhale, find this kind of most traditional variation of cow pose. Let your belly relax, tail and gaze come up. And then exhale, find that cat. Tuck your tailbone down, your head down. Move at your own pace a few times here. Cow. And your cat. Try one more set like this. And then go ahead, come back to your neutral spine. Tuck your toes under. Maybe you lift to downward facing dog. You're welcome to stay in table here as well. If you choose downward facing dog, you might pedal your feet a few times. If you choose to stay in table, you might draw some circles with your hips. Slowly walk or step your feet towards the front of the mat. Coming to dangle with soft knees. Feel free to place props underneath your hands if you like them. Let your spine get long. Let your buns stick out a little bit behind you. And as you inhale, lift up about halfway. Reach the crown of your head forward. And then as you exhale, soften back. Bend your knees a little more deeply. Inhale, halfway lift the legs. Good, straighten a little bit if that feels good. Exhale, soften, drape your belly over your thighs. A couple more like that. And then with this next one, you're going to roll yourself one vertebrae at a time all the way up to the ceiling. Feel free to walk your hands on your thighs for extra support. When you reach standing, roll your shoulders away from your ears. Let your palms turn forward. And then inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Exhale, hands come down in front of the heart. Inhale, bring your arms back up over your head. Press the palms together, and as you exhale, fold all the way back forward. Stick your buns out behind you a little bit, drape your belly over your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, you're going to plant your hands down and walk or step back to a downward facing dog or a table pose, your choice. From your downward facing dog or your table pose, take a few breaths. Maybe move your feet around a little bit or your hips around a little bit. And again, it's just about feeling into the length of your spine. How does it feel mobility-wise today? How does it feel flexibility-wise today? So it's not really important if your legs are straight or bent, or if your knees are lifted or lowered, as long as you're feeling your spine. When you're ready, from your table or your dog, you're going to lift your right foot to the sky as you inhale. And then as you exhale, take your right knee in towards your nose. Step your right foot beside your right hand at the front of the mat. You want your back knee to be lifted, so if you came from that low lunge, lift it up. Shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Reach the crown of your head forward here as you inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can find a little bit of your cat shape in your spine. Lifting your belly up and in, rounding back to look towards your back toes. Inhale, soften your hip. Lift your gaze forward. Find a little bit of that cat shape. Shrug your shoulders back. Exhaling, cat. I may have done that backwards. Inhaling, cow. And you're not going to get as pronounced a shape in your spine here in this lunge as we take two more, but you might feel a lot more happening at the front of your right hip. Started to extend our range of motion a little bit. This is your last set. Exhale again, lift up through your cat pose. Now as you inhale, simply drop your back knee to the floor. You can untuck your toes for comfort. You can lift the center of your chest. You can stay here. Or you can bring your hands to your thigh or your arms all the way up to the ceiling. Lift the center of your chest. Shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Squeeze your inner thighs slightly together. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and fold yourself down towards the floor. You can step your right knee next to your left knee, or you can tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and step your right foot back next to your left foot. Table or downward facing dog, your choice. Take a few breaths here. Enjoy. There's also always an opportunity to come to a child's pose if you like. Kind of another variation of that gentle curve of cat shape. When you're ready, from your table or your downward facing dog, you'll float your left foot to the sky. And you want to draw your left knee in towards your chest, step your left foot by your left hand. It's a little further over than the center line of the mat. So you have lots of stability. And again, that back knee wants to be lifted here. As you exhale, you lift your belly up, you tuck your tail and your gaze in, you find a little bit of that cat shape. And then as you inhale, you can soften, you can lower your right hip, you can bring your chest forward. Cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And again, don't be worried if your range of motion does not feel very big. It's quite challenging here with this back knee lifted. You'll start to really feel your legs warming up to get into this shape in the spine. So just do what you can. One more like this. You're gonna exhale into that cat shape. And then as you inhale, you drop your back knee to the floor. You can untuck your toes for more comfort if you need to. You can stay low, just lifting the center of your chest is a great time to use props underneath your hands. Or you can lift up higher, hands to thigh, hands to hips, or arms all the way up to the sky. Shrug your shoulders back. Maybe even let your hips drift a little bit forward. Inhale here. And exhale to fold again. You can step back to downward dog or back to table. Totally your choice. Take a few breaths. Move in any way that feels pleasant. As you're ready, you can walk, you can step, or you can hop your feet back up towards the front of the mat, finding a forward fold as you exhale. As you inhale, draw your hands up onto your legs somewhere, find halfway lift. Exhale to release. As you inhale, one smooth breath now draws you up to the sky. Arms can come out and up if that feels nice. And then exhale, press your palms together, draw them in front of your heart. Take for yourself 3 deep, full breaths here. And keep moving in that curve and recurve of the spine. Next, inhale. You're going to sweep your arms up overhead. As you exhale, bring your hands down by your sides, palms face the legs, and bend your knees coming into your chair pose. Inhale, lift up a little bit. Bring your hands onto your thighs, at least to start with. Shrug your shoulders back, bend your belly gently forward. This is your cow pose. And then as you exhale, round forward, you can tuck your tailbone and your gaze down, cat pose. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. If you like, you can add some arms and make this a little more dynamic. Inhaling to open like a big cactus. Exhaling to draw the palms, the forearms, and the elbows together as you round in. Try 2 more. You can always do just the hold of the legs bent or just the movement of the arms if you need to. Inhale stays the same. You're going to open everything up. And then as you exhale, hinge from your hips, drape your belly over your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down, walk or step to the back of the mat, table, or downward facing dog, your choice. You could stay in your table or your downward facing dog, or you could join me in a little half vinyasa. You could inhale forward to your plank, knees up or knees down, slow push up to the floor. Inhale, you could pick up cobra or elbows on the floor, sphinx, or if you're ready, upward facing dog. We've done quite a lot of work in the spine now. And then as you exhale, release, tuck your toes under, and come on back. Downward dog or table pose. See what feels just right to you. From there, inhale the right foot to the sky. And then as you exhale, step your right foot again next to your right hand at the front of the mat, framing that foot with your fingertips or your hands on props, very appropriate here. We're just going to move a little deeper. As you inhale, you find that cow shape and you kind of soften your front thigh. You lift the center of your chest. Now as you exhale and you pull back into that cat shape, maybe you straighten your right leg a little bit, chin towards the knee or nose towards the knee. Inhale, little cow shape. Exhale, little cat shape. And feel free to find the range of motion and the pace of movement that works for your body. You can do a few more like this. Now as you inhale, come forward to that lunge position again. Plant your hands down. You're going to drop your left knee to the floor, and then you're going to sweep your right leg back behind you for 3-legged table. This is your inhale. Make your belly a little bit soft, shrug your shoulders back, maybe lift your heel a little higher, and then as you exhale, pull your belly button up. Bring your knee towards your nose, find that cat shape. Inhale, reach forward, shrug the shoulders back, a little bit of cow, but keep the belly in this cow engaged a little bit so you're not collapsing. There's still some lift. Exhale, draw everything in. Try a couple more like that. Last set. Reach the right leg behind you as you inhale. And as you exhale, set that right knee on the floor. Lift the left leg behind you as you inhale. And step the left foot next to the left hand. If you came with me from that low variation, tuck your back toe, lift your back knee so you're back in this kind of medium-sized lunge. Feel free to use props underneath your hands. Same thing as on the other side. Soften the hips, lift the chest as you inhale, shoulders back, maybe even the gaze forward. As you exhale, maybe you straighten your leg as you come through that cat shape in the spine. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. And again, you work in the way that feels best for your body. If there's one spot that feels really good, you don't have to flow just with your breath. You can take a few extra breaths in that spot and really revel in the sensations of your body. The whole idea of doing yoga is that our bodies feel good and strong and capable. So if you find something that's going to help you feel that way, why not enjoy it? Last deep breath here. You're going to come forward into your lunge. Drop your right knee to the floor. Plant your hands down firmly to the mat and take that left leg behind you as you inhale. A little bit of relaxed sensation in the chest, but keep the belly lifted as you shrug the shoulders back. This is your cow shape. And then as you exhale, knee to chest, cat. Inhale to expand. Exhale to contract. You can have your back toe, your grounded right toes, either flat, tops of the toes on the mat, or you can tuck them under, see what feels better and more stable to your body. More set like this. And then you reach that that left leg out behind you as you inhale. As you exhale, place the left knee on the floor. Your choice of where to go here. Maybe you want to go for a rest in your child's pose, that gentle curvature of your spine. Knees could be together or apart. Maybe you like to move in your table or tuck your toes and come to downward facing dog. If you feel quite flowy today, you could come to a half vinyasa plank, push up. Back bend of choice, upward dog or cobra or sphinx. And then in the next couple of breaths, we'll all meet in a table or in a downward facing dog. From table or downward facing dog, you're going to walk or step or hop your feet forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale to soften. Press down into your heels. One smooth breath will roll you all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your hands down in front of your heart. Again, take 3 full deep breaths here. Feel your spine. As you're ready, blink your eyes open. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, press the palms together, fold all the way forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, now you sit your hips back, coming into your chair pose a little bit differently. Maybe you draw your hands against your thighs, or maybe you draw your hands directly into that cactus shape as you inhale. And then as you exhale, round forward, maybe pulling the arms in. A few more like this. Last set of standing cow and cat. And then inhale, open everything up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, fold gently forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down, walk or step, or you can hop if you like to the back of the mat. Downward dog or table pose. Option to stay and rest, or to add your half vinyasa, inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling, knees up or down to the floor. Picking up your back bend of choice, sphinx, cobra, or upward facing dog. And then we'll all go back to meet in the next breath or two in our table or our downward facing dog. From there, float your right foot to the sky as you inhale. And then as you exhale, take that right knee in towards the chest, set the right foot by the right hand again. Same thing as we did before, inhaling, finding your lunge cow. Exhaling, finding your kind of pyramid cat as you straighten your leg a little bit. Couple more like this. Your own pace, your own range of motion. Last one. And then you're going to come forward. Front knee is bent. From here, take a little peek back at your back foot. Chances are it feels kind of far away. If that's the case, step your left foot a little bit in towards you, 4 or 5 inches. You might even step your left foot 4 or 5 inches over to the left, and then set your left heel on the floor for warrior one, so 45-ish degree angle. Press your fingertips down, and as you inhale, see if you can lift yourself all the way up to the sky. Adjust your back foot angle so you can square your hip points towards the front of the mat. Maybe the arms come up to the sky as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, take your hands behind your back. You could hold one on top of the other. You can interlace your fingers. You could draw your hands down a little bit. Open the center of your chest, lean a little back, find that wonderful back bendy cow shape as you breathe in. Spend a few moments here. Looking up is 100% optional, as only if it feels good in your neck. And now as you exhale, fold forward, belly to thigh or torso to the inside of the front thigh. Lift your belly button up. See if you can take your mid and low back towards the ceiling, maybe lifting your arms to the sky. Humble cat pose. Tuck your right hip in towards you. And then inhale, unwind yourself. Place your hands on the floor, turn your back foot straight forward and back, drop your left knee to the floor. And again, you're gonna take that right leg out behind you as you inhale. As you exhale, now curl your right heel towards your left butt cheek. Lift the center of your chest, shrug your shoulders back. You can stay right here, kind of call this baby tiger pose. Or you can chase and perhaps catch your tail. Maybe you feel strong enough to reach your left arm in front of you. And then take your left hand behind you. You can reach around with your left hand for your right foot. If you caught your tail, you can press the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot and lift a little more into your back bend. Take a nice deep full breath here. And then go ahead and release. Bring your hands to the floor, bring your knees to the floor, take your knees a little wider, and come back to your child's pose, crawling your fingertips forward for just a couple deep breaths. Let your tailbone be really heavy here. And then you're going to come back to table or back to downward facing dog. From your table or your downward facing dog, float your left foot to the sky. Step your left foot up to the front of the mat. Near the left hand, so you have nice wide spacing train tracks between the front foot and the back foot. Inhale, soften your back hip, lift your chest, cow pose. Exhale, straighten your leg, little pull your belly in, cat pose. Your own pace, your own range of motion. One more like this. And come back to your lunge position. You want to look back at that back foot and step it maybe a little bit in, maybe even a little out to the right, so that when you set your back heel down for warrior one, you have space between the heel of your front foot and the heel of your back foot, so that when you lift up to the sky, you can feel stable and strong as your hip points turn to the front of the mat. Lift your arms up as you inhale. As you exhale, take your hands behind you. Find your exalted warrior variation. You could lace the fingers, you can just stack the hands or hold the elbows behind the back if you like. Lift the center of your chest, gazing up again. Totally optional. See if it feels actually good to your neck. Feel that openness of the whole front of your body. And then as you exhale, take the hips back, take the torso forward, lift the belly up and in. Humble warrior with kind of that cat shape, that cat sensation in your spine, that engagement in the front of your core, your abdominal muscles lifting up. Your tailbone is softening towards the earth. On an inhale, you lift up kind of halfway. You place your hands down, turn your back foot straight forward and back. Drop your right knee to the floor. Take your left foot behind you as you inhale. It's three-legged table. And then you bend the left foot towards the right butt cheek. And that can feel like plenty if the hips and the quadriceps are on the tighter side. You just lift your chest and you focus on bringing the heel to the butt. Maybe if you feel quite stable, quite strong today, you reach your right arm out. And you can reach your right hand back. You chase your tail, and sometimes you catch your tail. You can hold on, you can press your tail, your foot into your hand, and lift a little deeper into your back bend if you like. And just another deep breath, wherever you are. And then release. Hand down, knee down, child's pose. Knees could be wide or knees can be together. You can experiment with what feels really lovely for your spine. And take a few deep breaths here. Once you're ready, go ahead and come back to your table or to your downward facing dog pose. Take a deep full breath there. And then walk or step your feet up towards the front of the mat. Soften your knees a little bit, and as you inhale, roll yourself all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a few full, deep breaths. Next into a little bit of balance pose. We'll come into our Natarajasana, our dancer pose. If you would like to practice with some assistance with a wall, we'll start on our left foot, reaching our right leg behind us. So you can place your left hand against the wall. Just be mindful if you do that you don't do the big lean of your torso into the wall. Spread all of the toes of your left foot out. See if you can see some of the color of your mat between them. And then imagine that you're lifting the arch of your left foot up. When you feel some activation in your left leg, lift your right heel. Adjust as needed. And then maybe you can take your right foot a little back behind you. And this time you're just trying to get it towards your right butt cheek. And sometimes this is plenty of work, just standing on one foot. Then maybe you can reach around, and this time you're holding the foot with the same hand. So it's right hand to right foot. If you practice with a strap, you can always loop the strap over your foot and then hold on with a strap. So if you're compromised for flexibility, this is not your flexible area, then you can hold on with a strap here. If you can get your foot to your hand, provides a nice little bit of stability. Now you might stay right here, or you might just like on the floor begin to push the foot into the hand. Expand a little bit forward, feel your belly starting to open up. Maybe lean a little forward. And I'm holding the outside of my foot. Generally, that's a little easier, but you can always hold the inside of your foot if that's more comfortable. Maybe you reach your left arm out in front of you. A little dancer pose, little Natarajasana pose. See how it goes. And it doesn't matter if you wobble and you fall a million times. It's like you tested it out, you tried it. You looked to chase your tail. Maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. Does it really matter? When you're ready, go ahead and release. Maybe you shake out your right leg. Maybe you shake out your left leg. You roll your foot around. Getting ready to go over to the other side. And when you're ready, you bring your weight to your right foot. You spread your right toes out. You imagine lifting up through the arch of that right foot so you feel your kneecap, feel your quadriceps start to activate. You lift your left heel and you adjust. Maybe you're like, okay, I need to put a little more weight to the outside edge, the inside edge of the foot here. Maybe you can lift that foot behind you. And that might feel like just enough. Even just lifting the foot like this, you can feel the hamstrings working. Maybe you decide to reach around, it's left foot to left hand or left hand to left foot. And you can hold right here. Again, you could always take a strap or really anything, a belt around your foot and hold on to it if the foot and the hand just don't want to connect. It's easier when your arms are quite long so that it's easy to reach down to that foot. If you are a shorter armed person, this will be a harder pose. If you feel good, you can press the foot into the hand. You can lean a little forward. You can find that expansion, that cow shape in your belly. You can even reach your arm out as you push the foot into the hand. And again, you can hold outside or inside. See what feels good to you. Keep lifting your heart. Keep relaxing your shoulders as perhaps you wobble, perhaps you fall, perhaps you're rock solid today. Aren't those the best days? When you feel like you can just balance so smoothly and easily. They're precious. They don't come around all that often. When you're ready, go ahead and release. And shake things out a little bit. One leg, another leg in your hands. And come back to the front of your mat. Spread both sets of toes nice and wide. Find some color of your mat. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Press the palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands, step back. Table or downward facing dog. You could stay right there or come directly to child's pose. Or you can take one more half vinyasa if you like. Plank as you inhale. Push up as you exhale. Inhale, back bend of choice. Exhale, we're all going to be in downward facing dog or table pose, depending on where you came from. And then drop your knees if they're not already there to the floor. Take your knees wider than your hips for this next child's pose. Pull your hips back and crawl your fingertips forward. Let your forehead rest down. If your forehead doesn't rest to the floor, you can always place a prop underneath of it, a block, book, pillow. Now press your fingertips to the floor. Lift the palms of your hands, lift your elbows, lift your forehead a few inches, and crawl your fingertips over to the right side of the mat as you let your hips go to the left side, finding a deep side stretch. If that feels good and you want even a little more, you can stack your left hand on top of your right hand, interlacing your fingers. And when you're ready, you can walk your fingertips back to the center line and over to the left. Hips can go a little bit to the right. If you like that extra stretch, you can take your right hand on top of your left hand. You can interlace the fingers. Kind of like holding hands with yourself. Feels really friendly. Bring your fingertips back to the center line. Walk them in towards you and come to seated. We're going to take a little camel pose. So if seated on your heels is a happy place for you, you're welcome to stay and take your camel pose here. You can also sit, as we did at the beginning of the class, cross-legged or with your legs extended straight out in front of you. Walk your fingertips behind your hips. Fingers can angle in any way. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Start to open the center of your chest. Find that cow, or in this case, camel shape. Lifting up. You can always walk your hands further back as you open up the front of the body. If you have a variation of camel pose that you prefer, you're more than welcome to add that in. Spending a few breaths. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. As with the Exalted Warrior earlier, letting the head drop back is 100% optional. You can always look forward or down the length of your body. Just be mindful if you do let your head go back, that when you rise up out of your camel pose, that's like the last thing that happens, is the head will come back up. You go slow. Another breath. And slowly, slowly from the base of your spine, roll up, walking your fingertips in. Roll forward with the shoulders. Bring the gaze forward. Bring your hands down onto your legs somewhere. Take a few deep breaths. If you're comfortable as you are seated, go ahead and stay. If you need to change your seat, don't hesitate. The seat is totally unimportant for this next pose. Reach your arms out in front of you as you inhale. Cross your right arm on top of your left arm. You could use your left arm as a lever to pull your right arm across your body. Or you can take the back, so the fronts of your hands together for a little eagle. Soften your shoulders. Let your elbows become heavy here. You can even, if it feels good, come a little now into your cat spine, rounding slightly forward, elbows towards the belly. Unwind, reaching back up. And you might like to take a walk just to roll your shoulders a little bit. Before reaching your arms in front, crossing your left arm on top, you can pull the left arm across the body. That really targets the left shoulder. Or you can go a little more symmetrical, backs or fronts of the hands together. Either way, heavy elbows. Maybe you come even a little more cat-like and you round and curl a little bit into yourself, chin towards the chest. When you're ready, inhale, unwind. Shoulders around a little bit. And then swing your feet. If you're sitting, along them out to the side or stretch them out in front of you. Wiggle yourself right to the middle of your mat. And here, if you've been sitting on your feet, you might flex and point your toes a few times. We have a few more poses on the floor here, but if your room like mine where you're practicing is a little chilly, you could grab your sweater or your socks. You don't need too much traction with your feet here. As you're ready, you're going to roll yourself all the way down to the floor. As you reach the mat, draw the soles of your feet in so your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. You can reach down and you want to be able to touch your heel with the middle finger of each hand. And then we'll take a bridge pose first, and then we're going to tilt our pelvis a little bit afterwards. So bring your arms out to your side, plant your hands down onto the mat. Relax your shoulders as you inhale. As you exhale, find your cat integrity in your core by pulling your belly button towards the mat, contracting your abdominals. You'll feel your pelvis start to tilt towards you. You'll feel stuff in your body start to activate. Now on your inhale, press into your heels and lift your hips. You can lift terribly far. See if you can keep your knees in view so you're not lifting so high today that your knees completely disappear past your hips. The hips are in a line between your knees and your shoulders. Keep that cat-like integrity in your core. Your belly button is a little bit engaged here. Press into the heels of your feet. One more deep breath. And gently lower your hips all the way down towards the floor. Inhale, you're going to release anything that you're holding onto. So your pelvis will most likely tilt a little bit away from you. Your low back might lift away from the floor, and you feel that there's a little bit of space in your abdomen. Your belly has started to elongate. As you exhale, come back into that cat-like crunch, pulling your belly button towards the floor, your low back towards the mat. You'll feel things start to activate. Your tailbone might even lift a little bit. Inhale, release all of that. Come back into your cow-shaped spine. Your low back can lift. And then exhale to contract. I'm just going to do this a few more times. It's like baby cow-cat in your spine, tilting your pelvis forward and back. And we kind of did this same idea of rocking on our pelvis when we were seated at the very beginning of class, but it has a lot more kind of awareness to it when you can do it and actually feel your pelvis moving against the mat on the floor. A little deeper into our variations. Try one more set. Now, after you have exhaled and you've found all of that catness, press into your heels, lift your hips again, come back to your bridge pose. See how light you can make this bridge pose. So if you want to do over, you're welcome to come back into another pelvic tilt and then lift up into that bridge pose. But it should feel just like your hips are floating up and towards the sky. Holding for a few breaths. See if you can keep that sensation of floating. You've used your belly button. It's almost like someone has attached a little hook into your belly button and they just lifted you up. You didn't even really have to do anything. It was so easy. Take another deep breath here. And then gently release your hips to the floor. Go ahead and release all of the work that you're doing. So you're coming into that more cow shape. You're letting your low back curve just be natural. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. You can let your knees knock in towards one another. You're welcome to reach your arms up to the sky here and add some shoulder work, crossing the right arm in front of the left arm. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a huge hug. Feel free to massage on your shoulders here if you want to. Your upper arms. This is constructive rest pose, and this pose is designed to nurture the natural curvature in your spine, the natural S curve of your spine. And as you're ready, you can open your arms all the way back up. And then take the left arm on top, wrapping your arms around yourself here. You can keep your knees knocked in, or you can go the other direction, taking the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side here. You're ready, you can reach your arms up. You're welcome to use your hands to help you gather your knees back in. And then hug your knees, one, and then the other in towards your chest. Maybe rock a little side to side here. We'll come back to our supine twist, so taking the knees over to the right. Any variation, if you want to cross your legs up, extend or bend the legs in a different way, don't hesitate. You want to find a twist that feels just so yummy for your spine. See if you can relax your left shoulder towards the floor. It's totally okay if it's not touching. If you like, you can turn and gaze towards the left fingertips. See if you can allow your body to melt into this pose. Stay here just a little longer. How much can you relax into this shape? Gently bring the knees back to the center line. And take them over to the left. Find a variation of your twist over here. Find a place that feels so good. You're welcome to turn to look to the right if that feels nice. Using that stretch in the upper back. And again, let go here. Nice and slow. Bring your knees back in towards you. You can hug them and rock yourself a little side to side. Or you're welcome to turn the soles of your feet up for happy baby. If there's any other pose or shape that your body needs to complete this practice, of course, you could add that in. As you're ready, you can extend your way towards Shavasana, finding a comfortable place for your body to rest. Again, you want to find that place that you can kind of just melt into. You can really start to let go and to soften. As you find a comfortable resting place, draw a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, imagine that your breath is starting at the base of your tailbone and it's drawing upwards through the vertebrae, through the mid-back, up between the shoulder blades, up the back of the neck. And then as you breathe out, the breath washes down the spine and it drips down through the shoulder blades to the lower back, all the way to the base of the tailbone. And you breathe in this big wave, inhaling, the wave washes up the spine. And exhale, the breath retreats back down the spine. So that you become aware of the whole length of your spine, of all of your vertebrae. This way for as long as it serves you, for as long as it feels good. Allowing your breath to become natural whenever you are ready. usual, if you have the time, I encourage you to stay in your Shavasana for an extra 5 or even 10 minutes if you can. If it's time to move on, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe you like to turn your head a little side to side. As you're ready, you can roll yourself all the way over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to your most comfortable seated position, and especially today as our focus was on the length and health of our spine, if it feels more natural in your lower back to sit onto a prop, I encourage you to do so. Once you find your seat, bring your hands in front of your heart. We'll close with our deep breath together. In through nose, out through mouth. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and your time with me. I hope your spine feels wonderful and spacious. Have a lovely rest of your day.